everybody, what is going on today? I just wanted to put this video out, a short video here, to discuss something I've thought about or noticed, specifically regarding Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and why we don't get a lot of movie tie-in or really even like unique games anymore or new IPs. Now obviously this is based on the movie series Avatar, and it is gameplay-wise very similar to other games Ubisoft makes, like the Far Cry series, but it is still a risk for them to put something out like this, even though they are working closely with Disney and James Cameron himself on this game. This is a risky game because it costs millions of dollars, and it being a Ubisoft game, the average consumer who plays these kind of games, I think, they have some knowledge of the kind of gaming atmosphere, the gaming landscape, right? So they will wait, right? And sorry for the clicking of my mouse. They will wait to see what their favorite YouTubers think or say about the game. They will wait to watch the reviews from IGN or from their favorite individual on YouTube, and then decide from there if it's worth buying. And on top of that, if you know anything about the gaming industry at all, you know a Ubisoft game goes on sale very quickly from release. So right there from the beginning there, you're crippled already in terms of how much money you can make from this game. If every single person who is interested in this game bought it on release, there's no way it would sell even as much as like Hogwarts Legacy or Elden Ring. So its entire base of people who are even interested in it is less than other big single-player games can sell. Think of how many people are actually buying the game, though, and at full price. What, 10% are maybe buying it at full price? 10% of the people interested? I would be surprised if this game, in its first couple weeks, sold more than like 4 million copies, which is respectable for sure. But this game in its lifetime is not going to sell even close to 20 million units. It's not going to touch Hogwarts Legacy, not going to touch Elden Ring, and of course not going to touch other multiplayer-centric games or the numbers and the income that free-to-play games get. And it's, while you can say that's neither here nor there, you might say, oh, I don't like Ubisoft games anyway, but I want, and I think most people want AAA publishers to continue putting out new and interesting things, even if they don't do great, which is why we see things like Titanfall 2. Everyone loved Titanfall 2, but it got destroyed. And hopefully they're still making one. Hopefully they're going to come out with another Titanfall game, right? But they became risk averse because of what they did. And I hope this is a trend that is turning around soon. That they're seeing the success of games like, Cuphead, of Cult of the Lamb, of all these indie titles that have lower budgets, but come in out of nowhere and sell more copies than the AAA games do. Now, of course, they're at cheaper prices, but I don't know how AAA gaming companies can't see that and go for that market. They were late to it, but they've already gone for the free-to-play market. Warzone became free-to-play. You just had games like The Finals come out from Nexon. So they've seen the free-to-play and they've gone that route. There have to be some people you'd hope there that have seen and are seeing how the indie scene is exploding, seeing how Deck 17 and Devolver Digital are just pumping out like 4, 5, 6 games a year that are selling 3, 4, 5, 6 million copies. Now, not all of them are selling that much, but you look at stuff like Dredge, Dave the Diver, Blasphemous, Cult of the Lamb, Talos Principle, all of these games, multiple a year that get 8s, 9s, some of them 10s from some websites, sell millions of copies, and they have smaller budgets. And the most annoying thing is companies like EA, like Ubisoft, used to make games like this. Ubisoft made Valiant Hearts. It made, what was the Child of Light, I think it was called? Those were reviewed really well. They were smaller indie games, they did well. And they did a couple others after that, and they didn't do so well, and they basically gave up on the principle. But now I think they're seeing, and I think it's part of it just being from Ubisoft. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I see Ubisoft on something, my desire to play it decreases instantly. Like, if you saw a game like, if you're familiar with the Crew Motorsport, the newest Crew game, if you saw that, you looked at the gameplay, like, alright, it looks decent. Oh, the cover art looks kind of cool. Okay, I've seen the performance review from Digital Foundry. Okay, so, okay, I'm interested in this game. Would you be more or less interested if you knew it was from Ubisoft, or if it was just from some studio you'd never heard of? Like, at this point, I would rather see a game like the Crew Motorsport, to use that example, from EA or Activision than Ubisoft at this point. Because EA and Activision can still put out good stuff. Ubisoft just puts out okay stuff for forever. And occasionally they accidentally make something good. But they're the kings of, like, this is just fine, right? And that's exactly what Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is. Now, the rating we have here on Epic Game Store is 4.5. Now, it doesn't mean anything, 'cause there's no user reviews, really. I don't even know where they're getting those numbers from. But I think the game is reviewing decently, like high 7s to low 8s. And that's exactly just what it is. It is Far Cry 7. But I wish they would make more games like this. I wish they would go out on a limb, make new IPs, make movie tie-in games, make smaller indie games, and I wish every big AAA studio would do that. Even ones that people want to do the same thing forever, like FromSoft. And they kind of went out of their way a little bit with Sekiro. But imagine if FromSoft made like an indie game. Imagine if FromSoft made like even like something like Blasphemous, like still kept the Dark Souls style but made it like 2D. Imagine if FromSoft made their version of Castlevania. Like, that'd be sweet. So that's just what I want to talk about with this video, like what this game kind of means, and I hope the game does do well, but not so that they can just make more of it, but so that they can say, oh, hey, we can take risks on new IP, on different things, on strange things. We don't have to make Far Cry 9 to make ends meet. We can make 3 or 4 indie games, and if even one of them explodes like Cult of the Lamb or any of these games, because of the budget we gave it, it'll become very successful. Not to mention merchandise and all that other fun stuff. So that's what I had to say about this. Let me know what you guys think, whether about this game specifically or about just the state of the gaming landscape, of indie games, of these AAA companies that are simultaneously risking it all on these free-to-play endeavors, but then are also too afraid to just make a decent, smaller budget game, or even a decent, maybe shorter AAA game. We're seeing the cracks, in the seams with almost all of these companies coming out. Like, they're either rushed to market, like Modern Warfare 3, or like all of these games that have launched with terrible performance. Jedi Fallen Order, Lords of the Fallen. Like, the only game in the last year that I can think of and look back on, I'm like, that was optimized really well, is Lies of P, which is from some random Korean studio that's made like 2 other games. I think they have some good money behind them, but nonetheless, like, they did great. They showed up all these other studios that have so much more money in them, so much more expertise. So I think they embarrassed a lot of studios, honestly. So I think places like Ubisoft, EA, Activision, all the big ones, even FromSoft, that can't get their game that looks like a PS3 game, Elden Ring, though it's an awesome game, to run at 60 FPS on PC for like months after release without stuttering. That's insane. It's just insane. So I hope companies realize this stuff and realize that what they're doing is not the most sustainable thing for them or for the industry, and that they can try other things. They can try smaller games, try indie games, just try new things. So I applaud Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, even though it's not a game that particularly interests me, and I hope we get more interesting stuff out of the industry in the coming months and years. Thank you all for listening, for watching. We'll see you all next time. Have an excellent one. Peace out.